Hey, what's up? This is StormMakerX. Just keeping the updates coming here and keeping things fresh. Uh, the coronavirus is pretty much still spreading in my area, but so far so good, and haven't contracted it yet. That or type A or type B flu, for that matter of fact, that's also going about. Been around some people, unfortunately, that have had type A and type B flu, but so far not infected, so still good and healthy. Personally, I have not been quarantined yet, but that's not to say that may or may not be a thing, especially with the cases being involved in this state. Uh, However, I pretty much am prepared for just in case if I do get quarantined. So as long as that's a thing, that's gonna be okay. But I pretty much figured, with the way how things are going, some different projects would be a good idea. One thing I started looking into was Gundam model kits. I blame new Gundam Breaker for doing that, even though on a scale, Gundam Breaker 3 was considered to be much better. New isn't too bad, especially if PlayStation decides to run a sale on it for $17. So some people may argue that it's still not worth that price, but to me, I figured, I was having an off day, so nostalgic situation here. So I just like, I tell you what, let's do it. So played it, got through it, beat the game on so many different ways. So yeah, it's not exactly bad. I personally don't like the targeting system on it. I think it could have been improved, but that's just a personal note there. Anyway, so after being inspired by the game itself, I decided to start looking into possibly trying to duplicate what my Gundam looks like in the game itself and try to make it into something that's reality or something I can hold and everything here. So, and that's pretty much what this is about. So this is pretty much what I had as a plan B in case if we do go through a quarantine, I can start actually painting a Gundam model kit and doing exactly like what I had in the game. I do have other things to keep myself busy with, especially other model kits. One being a custom goof. I do have the original Universal Century version, high grade model, and then also a Build Fighter version as well. So an R35 to be more precise, but that's pretty much my game plan, and that's something I plan to do if we get to that point where it's going to be that serious. But I pretty much also figured this would probably be a good thing to do, especially for people that are quarantined. So if you are able to do this, I definitely recommend doing it. At least it'll keep you busy long enough. So therefore you don't like go insane or anything, or have this like, cabin fever effect taking place here. So, but anyway, so this is exactly what I'm planning to do. This is RX-178 Gundam Mach 2 AEUG edition. Fair note, this is not the Revive edition. Revive editions is pretty much where Bandai decided to bring that model kit back into production again. But to what I've researched and everything, there's no difference between this version or the Revive version. They're practically the same thing. The biggest difference is that they're going to have the anniversary badge or icon or whatever you want to put right there on that upper right hand corner, and it's going to say how many years of Gundam, as far as how many years Gundam's been around. So on top of that, this is the Easy Arms Build Fighter Support Weapon. This is actually a nice little armament to add to any high grade base model kit, especially for fun. A lot of the customizing Build Fighter kits are high grades only. There's a couple of Build Fighter model kits that are like much higher and within like the master grade and real grade editions. But in this case, if you want to get more specific, believe it or not, it's going to be high grade type. So especially disarmament on this side on the left. But yeah, the main Gundam I was using in the game was a Gundam Mach 2. Technically there is a build fighter version, but the original to me I like better, and especially this one, Universal Sentry, because there's not a lot of seams that are exposed as compared to the build fighter version. That's just a personal preference. If you can, or if you want to, any particular model kit that will keep you busy both physically and mentally is a good thing, just as long as you kind of like, you know, just keep yourself busy, especially if you're in quarantine right now. So but that's what I pretty much am planning to do. I will be working on other particular like armor builds, and especially for, I'm working on a helmet for some other guy too. So that will be something I'll show off later, but this is pretty much what I'm going to be working on as well. And I'll be showing it off on future videos as well. So let me go ahead and work on it a little bit, and I'll show you what it's all about. Okay, here's where I'm at right now. I got the upper torso and the head all nice and assembled, and all their pieces where they're actually nice and tight. And that can be a little bit of a challenge with these type of model kits because they're so small. It is going to require a little bit, you know, as far as working with the X-Acto knife and with some really nice fine sandpaper. And we're not talking about like the type you can get for like in several sheets in a pack or something like that. No, we're talking about like almost like, it works like almost like a nail file here. So, and that's something, to me, that's what works best on these model kits, because you have to like, once you cut it out of the frame and everything, you gotta go ahead and shave off the spruces and leftover tabs from when you had to do that. But in case you want, you know, in case you see we're smooth in one area and then it looks kind of rough there, that's where I was trying to work on it. But by the time we get done painting it and everything, it's really gonna come out very nice. So that's one of the things why I did that. There's a lot of original appearance and designs on this particular model kit, because 10 years ago, when the original high grades were only available as a 1/100, with the way how they're doing model kits now is that now high grades can be shrunk down to 1/144, which is really tiny. And that's why all these nice little tiny details really pop up now on these little smaller kits. And the one thing, like I said, I like about this version versus the build fighter version, which I do have, I love the fact that it really kind of hides the seams a lot better on a Universal Sentry type. That's just my personal preference again, but because I'm very particular, because I would have to go ahead and like add a little bit of model putty on those seams to actually smooth them out. Because on the picture, you know, it would show it being all smooth and everything, no lines of that type going up and down it. But with this type of model, that's not a problem. So that's one of the things I really like about this version of the Mach 2, and hence why I'm going to be customizing it when it's all said and done. So I do have a lot of Tamiya paints, which are going to work very nice with this model. And I'm going to try to duplicate everything, or as much as I can, from the game itself, and try to make it realistic with this model kit. So that's that's my aim. That's what I'm going for. Might add some, I mean, there's gonna be some variables here and there, because, you know, the way how the game is versus what these kits are. I mean, they're exact kit for kit, but it's kind of like there's some things that just weren't available in the game itself versus in real life. So, but anyway, think we're going to conclude this video for right now like this. But I will be posting more of these kit videos, I guess you could say, Gundam model kit videos, and show them off as I'm building them up, building them up, and then doing different things to them. So therefore, that way, kind of like keep some people entertained, or probably even inspire some people to try to build some of their own. So with that being said, like always, if you like the video, definitely hit the like button. I definitely recommend subscribing. That way you can keep up with any future updates. And finally, of course, if you have any questions or would like to leave a comment, definitely do that down below as well. Any questions, I will answer ASAP. So with all that being said, everyone out there, have a good day, and do be careful, stay safe, stay healthy.